858 Kenneth I of Scotland. Kenneth MacAlpin, King of the Picts, united Scotland, and is considered the first Scottish king, dies of a tumor at around 48. In 1130 Honorius II Lamberto, Pope 1124-30, dies. In 1141 Béla II of Hungary b. 1110. In 1200 Stefan Nemanja Saint Symeon, Serbian ruler and founder of Serbian state, or died 1199. In 1219 Minamoto no Sanetomo, 3rd Japanese gun of the Kamakura shogunate 1203-19 and waka poet, assassinated by his nephew at 26. In 1237 Jordanus of Saxon, 2nd General of Dominicans, drowns. In 1315 Jean I of Chalon-Arlay, Mayor of Neuchâtel, dies. In 1332 Andronicus II Paleologus, Byzantine Emperor 1282-1328 monk, dies. In 1539 Isabella d'Este, Marquise of Mantua b. 1474. In 1542 Catherine Howard, Queen of England 1540-42, 5th wife of Henry VIII, beheaded at 18 or 19 for adultery. In 1542 Jane Boleyn, Viscountess Rochford, sister-in-law of King Henry VIII of England, beheaded in the Tower of London at 36 or 37. In 1585 Alfonso Salmeron, Spanish Jesuit biblical scholar, dies at 69. In 1592 Jacopo Bassano, Italian painter. In 1600 Gian Paolo Lomazzo, Italian painter and poet trattato, dies at 61. In 1602 Alexander Nowell, English churchman, Dean of St. Paul's, dies. In 1608 Elizabeth Talbot, Countess of Shrewsbury and builder of country houses, dies at 89. In 1608 Konstanty Wasyl Ostrogski, Lithuanian prince b. 1526. In 1624 Stephen Gosson, English satirist b. 1554. In 1629 Girolamo Jacobi, Italian singer, choirmaster, conductor, and composer sacred music and opera, dies at 61. Date approximate. In 1635 Georg R. Wekelin, German poet, dies at 50. In 1660 Charles X. Gustav, King of Sweden 1654-60, dies at 37. In 1662 Elizabeth Stuart, Electress of the Palatinate, the Winter Queen of Bohemia, and daughter of James VI and I of England and Scotland, dies at 65. In 1693 Johann Caspar von Kerlel, German composer, dies at 65. In 1724 Francisco Jos Coutinho, Portuguese composer, dies at 43. In 1727 William Wotton, English theologian and scholar, dies at 58. American Puritan minister Salem witchcraft trials, dies at 65. In 1732 Charles Ren de Hosier, French historian b. 1640. In 1741 Johann Joseph Fux, Austrian composer music theorist, dies at about 80. In 1787 Charles Gravier, Comte de Vergennes, French statesman and diplomat, dies at 67. In 1787 Roger Bošković Ru-Erbokovi, Croatian-Italian astronomer physicist, poet, and priest, dies at 75. In 1798 Wilhelm Heinrich Wackenroder, German writer fantasies of art, dies at 24. In 1814 Georg Augustin Holler, German composer, dies at 69. In 1818 Absalom Jones, African-American abolitionist and Methodist Episcopal clergyman, founder of the Free African Society and the African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas in Philadelphia, dies at 71. In 1818 George Rogers Clark, American frontier military leader in Revolutionary War, dies at 65. In 1837 Mariano Doster Lara, Spanish journalist and romantic writer, commits suicide by gunshot at 27. In 1841 Thomas Ainsworth, English-Dutch industrialist, dies at 45. In 1845 Henrik Steffens, Norwegian-German philosopher, dies at 71. In 1849 Christian Rummel, German conductor and composer, dies at 61. In 1858 Hermann Heinrich Gosson, Prussian economist, dies at 47. In 1873 Petrus Abraham Samuel van Limburg-Brouwer, Dutch novelist Akbar, literary critic ter Gids, and politician Member of Parliament, 1864-68, dies at 43. In 1882 Henry Highland Garnet, American minister, abolitionist and diplomat, dies in Monrovia, Liberia at 66. German composer, noted chiefly for his operas The Ring of the Nibelung, The Flying Dutchman, dies of a heart attack while visiting Venice at 69. In 1888 Jean-Baptiste Lamy, first Archbishop of Santa Fe 1853-85, dies at 73. In 1889 João Morsi I of Wanderley, Brazilian magistrate and politician, Prime Minister of Brazil 1885-88, voted against emancipation law, dies at 73. In 1891 David Dixon Porter, United States Navy Admiral, dies at 77. In 1893 Ignacio Manuel Altamirano, Mexican author El Zaco, dies at 58. In 1894 Franjo Rakai, Croatian historian and politician, dies at 65. In 1896 Carl Martin Rienthaler, German composer, dies at 73. In 1897 Joseph O. Shelby, American Brigadier General Confederate Army, dies at 66. In 1905 Konstantin Savitsky, Russian painter travelers in Overgny, dies at 60. In 1906 Albert Gottschalk, Danish painter, dies at 39. In 1907 Marcel Bertrand, French geologist and mine engineer tectonic geology, dies at 59. In 1914 Alphonse Berthelin, French police officer and anthropologist devised crime ID system, dies at 60. In 1916 Wilhelm Hammershøi, Danish painter known for subdued interiors and portraits, dies at 51. In 1990 Matteo Albertone, Italian general, who fought in the Italo-Ethiopian War, dies at 78. In 1921 Willem P. Sienatel, Dutch bibliography librarian, dies at 67. In 1925 Floyd Collins, American cave owner and caver, dies a few days before rescuers can reach him trapped in Sand Cave, Kentucky at 37 estimated 1. In 1927 Brooks Adams, American philosopher New Empire, dies at 78. In 1935 Vernon Lee Violet Paget, British author Satan the Master, Gospels of Anarchy, dies at 78. In 1937 Karl Albrecht Bernoulli, Swiss writer, dies at 69. In 1941 blind boy Fuller Fulton Allen, American Piedmont blues guitarist and singer, dies of sepsis and kidney failure at 36. In 1942 Epitcio Pessoa, 11th President of Brazil Minas Gerais Republican 1919-22, dies at 76. In 1943 Willem Warraven, Dutch journalist and writer ter Indische Courant the Indies newspaper, Brieven Letters, dies at 55. In 1944 Edgar Selwyn, American actor, playwright and producer on Broadway Goldwyn Pictures, dies at 68. In 1945 George Studd, English